So hi everyone, my name is Grigor Mehmet. I am the partner and winemaker for Kareen wine from the Sierra Foothills. Sierra Foothills is an area more directly where the gold rush started in California. So for those that are curious about exactly where it is, the winery started from an area even slightly, I need to say more, just obscure, which is the East Contra Costa, which is kind of the hotbed for ancient old vine varietals in California. A lot of Portuguese producers came, immigrant families, and planted a lot of very legendary vineyards have started there. So we started in Contra Costa, migrated to Lodi. A couple of the wines here are from Lodi. We do a lot of work with Lodi. Lodi is kind of the hotbed for the California viticulture. It's the lion's share of a lot of California production. A lot of very, very good wine growing and vine growing in California is done in Lodi. And now we are in the Sierra Foothills. Sierra Foothills, where we are on a 40-acre plot where we farm directly 5 acres of a very interesting Italian grape called Barbera. It's a high acid grape. And this is kind of where the story continues, which is our first estate product. This is a pet nat version of it. It's a rosé pet nat of a sparkling Barbera, but we're also going into the still red Barbera as well as rosés of Barbera as well. And then we're gonna kind of play with other variations of that same grape, just because we have a very good chunk of this grape that we can play around with from our estate. Everything else we purchase from very good growers. So Malbec is kind of the inaugural wine that I made in 2016. Was the first vintage, was the first commercial vintage. Prior to that, I was experimenting with this grape in kind of a garage style production. But Malbec was always kind of the one grape that we've had a vintage of every year. And this is the more classically made wine that I have. It sees a lot of once used French oak, and it goes through the kind of the classical style of wine production. This here is a Syrah. This is the first entry into when we first got into the Sierra Foothills, we didn't know that we're gonna kind of establish ourselves in the Sierra Foothills. And this is coming off of a vineyard of another Armenian winemaker that is in that area, Edward Chalakian. This is off of his vineyard in the Sierra Foothills. Sierra Foothills outside of Barbera is also known for Zinfandel and Syrah planting. So there's a lot of reputable producers there. So coming into there, I wanted to, do something that's kind of known for the area, and Syrah was kind of an obvious choice. This is a Viognier, so on top of making Malbec as my first entry point into the commercial world, I wanted to do a white wine, and I was working for a large producer at the time, and they had this Viognier. I've had Viogniers before, and I was kind of thinking, like, currently I also make a lot of Chenin Blanc, and after this trip here, I'm going to a festival in Berkeley that is dedicated to Chenin Blanc. That's the second white wine that I make. But the first white wine to kind of come out the gate, like, what is a way that I could captivate an audience that it might be interested in this lesser known grape. It's a French grape. French know a lot about it, but the American, average drinker might not. And Viognier is a great choice. It's an aromatic wine that is kind of like a people pleaser in a way. That's anyone that hasn't tried a Viognier, they try a Viognier, they go, this is fun, this is interesting. Our brand is very culture forward. That's the best way I can describe it. Culture forward meaning, like, we had options of what we wanted to do as a family that's starting out here in the United States. We could have used some very neutral jargons, but we called our family winery with the name of the place that we come from. So both from my father's side and my mother's side, the origin is from a town called Kareen. Kareen, for other Armenians that maybe don't know what Kareen is, today is called Erzurum, and that's in kind of eastern parts of Turkey, or as we call the historic Armenia or Western Armenia. So we decided, everything that we do obviously is American, because we're in the American soil, but we're going to produce an Armenian forward product. So everything from the label, we are proudly display the alphabet. Kareen is written in English and Armenian. we use this symbol, which is an arabakh, which is a very ancient Armenian symbol, which means eternity. So that's kind of, but that's the story. That's the brand story. The viticultural story is Californian, and soon enough we're also importing Armenian wines, and we're going to propagate them here. Areni is one of the grapes that we're working with right now through UC Davis, and soon enough we will have that grape here as well.